Tony G. King to queen, king to queen. Every king needs a queen, and every queen needs a king. We can agree or disagree, in the end we still a team. I need you like you need me. Talk to me, baby, tell me how you feel. Don't hold back, keep it real. It's just you and me, be comfortable. Let's talk about it and be about it, cause every king needs a queen.
Welcome to the kingdom. This is King to Queen Talk, where we provide the black, grown, and unfiltered perspective on life, love, and everything in between. I am Tony G. Listen, we are back. I'm glad to see y'all. Come on in. We got a lot to talk about. As you can see, I have someone here with me. So let me go ahead and get this introduction started. Listen, if you haven't seen her, if you don't know her, you're going to know her today, and I promise you're going to leave better than you came. Is that all right? So listen, we have an author, we have a stage writer, we have a stage director, a play director, if you will. We have a life coach, we have a marriage coach, we have someone who is able to inspire you, whether on IG or whether on YouTube, or if you catch her on Facebook. Listen, she is out in these social media streets trying to inspire the world. You understand me? Listen, give it up for Miss Linda K. Lee. How are you, ma'am?
I'm doing well, Tony.
Listen, I'm glad to see you.
Oh my goodness.
You are also my sister in the XOD network.
Yes. We're in these media streets together.
Listen, we're in these media streets together.
Oh.
So there is so much that we have to talk about. But just in general, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well.
Doing well?
I am doing well.
I
am
mean,
doing well. Like that's not cliche.
Okay,
right,
okay.
Right, I'm doing well.
You mean it. You mean it when you say it.
I mean it when I say it. Oh my God.
That's what's up. So, now listen. I've seen your book, Impacting the World. If you guys have not seen this book, before I get into that, let me make sure we got y'all in these comments now, because y'all know normally I'm not the one multitasking. Listen, you know that
doing it though tonight.
It's not my calling.
He's doing it tonight.
Listen, it's not my calling now. See, when you know you're calling,
right.
You try to operate in your calling.
Stay in that lane.
You try to stay in your lane. You try to
stay
stay in your lane.
Every now and then.
Every now and then
we have to cross over that line.
There you go. So listen, shout out to Sunshine, Precious, appreciate you joining us. I see my sister AJ in the building. It says a few other people. And Ellis 4060, appreciate you for joining us. Listen, I appreciate y'all. Come on in, get comfortable. Give me a thumbs up, AJ, Precious, somebody. Thumbs up, let me know that you guys can hear us clearly. I need to know if you can hear us clearly, so we are not doing this in vain.
Right.
So listen, if you are not following us, maybe this is your first time here, this is a perfect time to go ahead and hit that follow button on IG. Also, subscribe. We are on YouTube now. Listen, the live does happen on IG, but eventually it comes down. So you need to go catch the playback on YouTube. So King to Queen Talk is where you can find us on YouTube, so you can make sure you can catch all of these fire episodes that have been coming out.
Absolutely.
Listen, if you haven't caught the last 2 episodes, you're missing out, because we've been showing out. We've been showing out. So this is going to be nothing short of amazing, you understand, than what we've been doing. So I'm looking forward to the conversation as everybody's coming in. All right, I see people rolling in. Annette Swift, she says, yay, Linda. AJ says, we can hear you clearly. I'm thankful for your sister. Omega Black is in the building. Sounds good. All right, Sunshine. Yes, ma'am. Giving me the thumbs up. Everyone saying we can hear you clearly. Ellis 4060 says, I see you, lady. Love you. And that's Swift. I followed, and YouTube. That's what we love to hear. Now, listen. Tell them a little more about yourself and where they can find you at and follow you as well.
Okay. Well, I'm Linda K. I sort of go by Linda K. Now, government, I'm still Linda K. Lee.
Okay. And we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that. Okay.
But you can follow me on IG at Linda_K Lee, Linda K Lee.
Okay.
You can follow me. It's my handle everywhere.
Okay.
You can follow me on YouTube as Linda K Lee, coming straight from the heart. You can follow me on Facebook at Linda K Lee.
Okay.
Yeah. So Linda K Lee, you can find me everywhere. That's my handle.
And
everywhere.
you're always giving these words of information and motivation.
I try to keep it RUM. RUM. I love acronyms.
Okay.
Right? I got that from my sister, Q Sheba, and our girl Iria,
Okay.
Dr. Iria.
Doctor.
Dr. Iria.
Yeah.
But I try to keep it RUM.
Okay. Tell us what that stands for.
Relational,
Okay.
uplifting,
Okay.
and motivational.
All right.
So whether the
Give it to us again. Give it to us.
relational,
Whether
it's about a romantic relationship, platonic relationship, family relationship, but uplifting.
Okay.
I don't need you downtrodden, and sometimes we are. But if we are downtrodden, I try to uplift you.
Okay.
And I try to keep it motivational,
Okay.
uplifting.
All right.
Yeah, motivational.
I'm with that.
Yeah,
I'm with that.
RUM.
I like
Not the one in the.
not the one that.
Well, we can toast it now.
We can toast
Yeah,
it. We
we
can toast. We
can.
can toast.
Yeah, we can.
Listen, don't ask me what's in my cup, and
Don't
I ain't
ask me
asking
what's in my
what's
bottle,
in
'cause I'm
yours.
not asking you.
Come on now. But I hope you have a drink with you. How about that?
Yeah.
So let's get into this book. As I said, you are an author.
I am.
A very, very detailed author that really seems to come from her own personal experience. And so the name of this book is called Damn, I Forgot to Love Her.
Yeah.
So tell me first, just with that, the title, it's not often that you hear damn
Like just like that. And you know what, Tony, is so funny. I'm going to tell you where I got the title,
Okay.
how the title came about.
Okay.
But I remember I was being interviewed on a podcast
Okay.
when the book came out. And when I was explaining to the young lady what the damn meant later, she was like, well, good, because I thought you were cursing. I said, no. Yes, I was. Let's get that straight. So
let's be clear.
Let's be clear. Let's be clear. So if you're churching and if you're churching and you ain't never been mad and said, damn, well, please go put on your pearls and you can clutch them joints that night because we going in. Because I'm just saying.
Let's go.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's do this. So if you've ever left your keys, I say keys because everybody left their keys somewhere.
Right.
And you're like, damn. When it hits you like,
Right.
boom. When it hit me that I wasn't loving me, I was like, me? Damn. Like, me? Yeah, damn. I forgot to love her?
Now, were you loving everyone else at the same time?
To the 12th power. To the 12th power. And I thought I was loving me when I was loving them.
Wow.
But I was so jacked up, toxic, and it wasn't healthy. Right? Because I was actually loving them from fumes.
Wow.
I was loving them from the standpoint of being on the plane. And I talk about this. I use that analogy in the book where on the plane they tell you if you're with a child and we're going down and we have turbulence to put the mask on yourself before the child.
Right.
My whole life has been about masking up everybody else. And I'm walking around with and thinking I could love them and can't even breathe.
So let's bring some context because
Yeah.
For some viewers, they may have never heard your story.
Right.
Okay? So in context, when you wrote this book, when you initially wrote the book, when you say, I was loving everyone else, I know that you have a family, as most of us do, right? But give the details in context of your family structure at that time as it relates to you coming into your own as, damn, I forgot to love her.
So, that is so good. So, it's so hard to do it because I got this play coming up and I'm trying not to give it away.
No,
But
I
family structure. I was married a long time.
Can you give us the years for context?
36 years.
36 years. As of last year.
36, 3 decades and 6.
36 years.
That's a long time.
Okay.
I was married. I had 2 children. Well, they were, by the time I learned that I wasn't loving me, they were adults.
Okay.
But during when I was taken back to look at it, they were teenagers when I really got the conceptualization that something is off in my life.
Gotcha.
That's the inner family structure.
Right.
But then I had extended family structure where it was happening as well.
And you could still be the main person that everyone on the outside is still coming to. You have to deal with sisters, brothers, cousins, nieces, nephews, uncles, aunties, best friends.
I got a book on friends alone called BFF really, but that's a whole nother.
Okay.
But let's talk about even church family.
Even church family, yes.
I found out, okay, wait a minute, hold up, I'm serving everybody but him.
Yes.
Because I was doing so much church work. That's a show in itself.
That is.
That's a whole nother show.
That is. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that is the structure.
Yeah.
And the context of, listen, I was doing what I was doing, and still not doing what I was supposed to be doing for me.
Right.
Where I was doing what I needed to do for everybody else.
Right.
But I was not a part of the equation.
Not at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the context.
That's the context
of the book. Okay, right. So tell me this before we dive into a little bit of the book, because let me also say she does have a stage play.
Yes.
That is next week.
Next Sunday.
Next Sunday.
Yeah.
The 22nd. And there is, some unknown name brother, some might say, that he's quite handsome, some might say, some may call him your favorite bearded king, your favorite bearded king.
Some may say he's in the kingdom.
Some may say he's in the kingdom.
Sits on the throne.
Yeah, but, that young man is going to be, a host, of a VIP party, after party that will be going on for the stage play.
Yeah.
Damn, I forgot to love her.
Yeah.
So we will get into that a little bit more.
Yeah.
But before we get there, what was your intended purpose for writing such a book that brought such transparency, such vulnerability?
The intent for writing the book, other than just to tell my story, I knew immediately when I found out what I was doing that there had to be other people going through it, dealing with it, and not knowing. It was to bring revelation to lives. And it was not meant for one demographic.
Gotcha.
It wasn't. On the back of the book it says whether you're man, woman, black, white, green, what have you. However, the sisters jumped on it. But the sisters my age jumped on that thing heavy. But the sisters who had daughters that were like in their 20s and 30s, they jumped on it too. I had a couple of brothers that jumped on it, and they were very sorrowful.
Because they were able to see that maybe their woman was not able to love herself in those moments, but still taking care of them and family. And to the woman's detriment, the man may have been actually receiving all that love and actually depleting her at the same time.
Yes. This one brother hit me up and he said, I wish I had gotten a hold of your book before my woman left. And all I could do to encourage him, I said, well, if there is no way of reconciliation, what I would suggest you do, if you really got something from it, is to, in your next relationship, learn from what you did not, learn from what you got, and don't repeat your mistakes.
Okay, so let's stay here. If there is a man or woman, because really it could be any person, it could fall on any side. Absolutely. It can be a man giving and not being poured into as well, right? So we dare not to limit it to gender specific. But
don't do that.
Just using this particular scenario of yours, if there is a man, right, who sees that his wife is not, whether it be, if we're playing the blame game, whether it be his fault or her fault.
Right.
But at the end, it's still her responsibility to love her the way that she should love her, and she should set the standard as
Right.
to how someone is going to love her as well.
Absolutely.
But with that said,
Yes.
with
Come
that said,
on.
what should a man do if he finds himself in a similar scenario where the woman is in a space where now she has walked in to who she is as a woman, as a human being. Forget as a wife, forget as a mother. Like, she's walking into her femininity. She's walking into who she is as a person. How does a man react to that? Because a lot of times we don't know if we're used to. You said you were married for 36 years.
Yes, sir.
So if I'm used to Linda being a certain way for 36 years, how do I then just change my mindset and say, okay, this is who she is now? How does a man actually thrive in that situation, and how does he prove to be successful in trying to be a helpmate to that woman, during that process?
Yes, because it can be a shock. It can be traumatic almost. You don't know what to do, because the person who wakes up, that's what I'm calling it. When they wake up, they don't know what to do with their new self. Right? And so it can come across a little, as they say now, bossy. I'm bossing up, right? There's nothing wrong with bossing up. But if you do it overkill, you'll lead with your hard emotions, ladies, rather than your softer emotions. And so what is a man to do? First of all, and I'm not trying to sound churchy, but it is a spiritual situation.
Okay.
Because when one comes to know and start having that self-introspection, they're dealing with their spirit first before it manifests outwardly.
Okay.
And so first, when they, if you are a praying person, because everybody isn't.
Right.
So let's just keep it on a general. First of all, bring it to their attention. Something is different. And be open to understand, yes, but it's a good thing.
Okay.
And even if they come across a little itchy with the B in the front of it, because it might just be that.
Right.
Because when you get brand new, and you, like I said, you don't know what to do with it. It's like somebody losing a lot of weight.
Okay, I like that analogy.
It's like somebody losing a lot of weight.
Because now you want to show it off.
You want to show it off.
You want to show it off. And here's the thing. Just the weight loss analogy, your man could have been good with how you were before you lost the 30 pounds.
Yes.
He was attracted to you when you had that extra 30 pounds of weight. So now that you have changed, you did it for you. You didn't do it for me.
Yes.
But now, how do I respond? How can I be edifying to your spirit in the midst of this change?
How can you not be intimidated? That's what you're asking.
Okay.
Because you don't know that it's intimidation.
Okay.
You're just like, what the what? Because you have become so comfortable. In that comfortability came a level of not contentment, but complacency.
Okay.
And her newness, just like I said, she sometimes don't know what to do with it. What it's going to do, it will push them into a place of checking themselves.
Okay.
So what I would do is, you can bring it to their attention. You're changing, but allow yourself to have a conversation, to literally listen, to be able to specify what you see that's changed. And as they say, let's say the conversation goes, what are you talking about? Oh, you seem a little different. You knocked the weight off, and I noticed, you might be dressing different, walking different. But as you talk, if you really listen to yourself, there's nothing wrong with anything you just said.
True.
If it doesn't take away from your home, if she's still loving you the same, physically, spiritually, mentally, or even better, especially if the weight off, you're probably getting it better. But on that, you got to drink on that one. Okay, well, if you want to drink, I'm going to drink wet. Okay, come on, I'm serious.
Talk to the people now.
I'm just saying, everything you're naming, where they're changing, is really for the better. It is just different.
Right.
We complain and criticize. Two things: what we don't understand and what's different.
Okay.
It's interesting how much we change the word in itself. It scares the hell out of us.
So, what you're saying is the man needs to be available and open to the change and asking questions in the midst of that change so you can better understand why the change, how it's changing, even when. Because a lot of times we may not see the change, but you're experiencing the change.
So now you're on it. You're on where I was going to go. You said in the midst. The operative word there is midst. In the midst. If you wait till the change has already gotten to almost fruition,
right,
either you're not paying attention to her,
right,
or him,
right.
Either you're not paying attention until it has gotten to that point, or you're seeing it and you're ignoring it as if it is not important.
Okay.
Ask the questions along the way. Pay attention along the way.
Right.
How about compliment along the way? But see, most of the time, the change isn't just like weight loss, even though we're using that analogy.
Right.
Sometimes the change is they're learning that whole sentence word, no. And
that's a whole sentence.
That's a whole sentence.
It's a whole sentence.
It got punctuation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
That's punctuation.
Oh, what?
Because it can be a period or it can be exclamation point.
I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, it can be.
Trying not to give away the play, but I'm trying to tell you.
Or it could be a few of those exclamation points.
Oh, come on. With the dot on it. Because what's an exclamation point without the dot under it? Right?
Right.
But it could be things like that. That's the stuff that throw you.
Right.
You used to a girl, maybe, doing most of the housework, or I don't know. And if it's a family member, you may be used to them always being there when you call on them.
Right.
And they're like, "Well, I need to run something by you." Not right now.
Right.
They didn't say anything, but to you, they cursed you out.
Right. Because you're used to a certain response from them.
You're used to a certain accessibility. Your key don't work all the time no more in their life.
Yeah.
Like, hold up, what? Did she change the lock? Yes. But not to hurt you.
Yeah.
But to build up some boundaries that can protect them.
I like it. So listen, y'all know we talk about relationships on here. So listen, I don't know who's looking for a relationship. I don't know who's in a relationship. But these are some gems. I hope y'all paying attention.
They're dropping.
They're dropping. They're dropping.
I hope y'all here for it.
So appreciate Dorothy Age 79 for stepping in. Appreciate Ms. Mika 404. I see my brother seeing the world. I see my sister J Curry Jim Doll. Appreciate y'all. Shout out to Salt Shaker 1 for joining us. J Curry Jim Doll says great analogy. Robbie Griffith 3, appreciate you for stepping in. Tear It Up T, appreciate you for stepping in. Precious says right, giving the emoji praising hands. Tear It Up T says that's right, sis. And Dorothy H79 says teach girl. Shout out to Cassandra Smith 4154 for stepping in the building. Okay, so let me ask this question.
Okay.
Now, we talked about how a man or, the person on the other end is supposed to receive this new information, this new way of living, right? But for the individual that is out there that says, I've lost myself. I know I'm not who I used to be. I'm a shell of who I used to be.
Tony.
How does that person come into a space that says, not only do I acknowledge I haven't loved myself, but how do I learn how to love myself?
First of all, those are, when I tell you, two separate entities.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Let's go to that first entity of the revelation. Anytime you get revelation of anything, there is that, I call it the Home Alone moment of awe. The Home Alone moment of awe, A-W-E. Okay. In the movie Home Alone, when he realized his mom was gone, he went like this. Yeah. The Home Alone moment of.
Okay.
Now that moment of awe can catapult you into a movement of getting it together. But 9 times out of 10, it catapults you into a moment of either depression, isolation, or just straight confusion. Because you got to understand, remember, you didn't even know it was happening.
Right.
Right? So usually there's, and you know what? And then you go through those 7 steps of grief, like death. And the first step is denial. Denial. You deny it. You walk in denial. You think in denial, and then you keep trying to work your life the way it was, even when you know. Another analogy. A doctor's diagnosis. Mr. Tony G, that knot on your toe, well, so it's not cancerous, but we are going to have to remove the toe. Well, you going to leave there like, nah, man. I tell you what you're not going to do. What you're not going to do is remove my toe. So Tony goes back to work, playing at the ball game, boom, boom, boom. Whole life still the same way, and then you are hurting. That toe is swelling. Then you can't walk because you are walking, but you're walking in denial. And so until you, and then you mentioned about when you acknowledge, okay, then this is a real thing.
Right. And I'm thinking like you're walking in denial at your own detriment.
Of course.
Because as you said, there's going to be consequences for walking in that denial of knowing that you deserve better. Better from what you are giving yourself. Forget everybody else. Better for what you are giving yourself. And therefore, there's going to be consequences that come with that. But, yeah, continue on.
Yeah. Sometimes the answer is
yeah. So, as a person's trying to find, now they realize it's happened. I don't know who's out there, that may be going through this, but they realize it has happened. Now, how does one come into the space of loving themselves?
Once they've come into the space of knowing and realizing and acknowledging that they have not, then the first thing they're going to have to do is seek help. Because this didn't happen overnight, right?
A learned behavior.
A learned behavior has to be unlearned. And the first thing you got to unlearn or unwrite is the narrative that you were okay. You got to rewrite your whole narrative. And sometimes rewriting your narrative is changing your environment. Because understand, you either got in your environment, you either have individuals that are used to you being how you were. So you either going to flow back into that thing, or they are going to be so neglective of you in your change. It's going to be so heartfelt and hard to do. Either way, it will push you back. Not push you forward, but it'll push you back. So you have to rewrite your narrative. And
could that be because the environment is not set for a space of growth?
Absolutely.
Almost like a plant that's in the house.
Right.
You need special ingredients for that plant to grow. So you need sunlight, you need water, you need different things in order to make that happen. So if you just have the water, listen, you said in order for you to grow, I'm giving you the water.
Right.
But if I'm not getting the sun, I'm not getting fully nourished.
Right.
In that type of environment.
Guess what else you need? You need to talk to that plant. And when you talk to that plant, you don't say things like, you better not grow. You're ugly. You're a shrub. You're giving it affirmations. I heard you use that word earlier. You got to give that plant, you're beautiful. You can do this. Hey, I had a plant. My girl Fifi, I call her Fifi Felicia in Baltimore. I hope she's looking. So she gave me this beautiful plant Mother's Day, and I named the plant after her. And so I would say, Fifi, how you doing, Fifi? I would talk to the plant. I would let that plant know that it was coming from my heart, right? Yeah. So you need that in your ear. You need that in your ear. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And for a person that may not have it, right? Let's say they are being neglected, right? But how do you start with the person in the mirror, right? How do you get to a place in your own self Because a lot of times people only treat you how you allow them to treat you.
Most of the time.
Most of the time.
Most of the time.
And so if you're not treating yourself well, it's very rare that you're going to find someone that's willing to treat you better than you treat you.
And here's the thing, you don't know what well is.
Right. So how do you navigate that?
Sometimes you have to navigate away again.
Okay.
Sometimes, first of all, it has to get innately planted in you that it is a necessity. Because as long as you think it's a want, Tony, as long as you think it's a want and not a need, you're not going to do it.
Right.
And it's going to be hard. Let me say that first also, just in case. And I would love for the audience, even if they just put a 1 up there or a 2 or a thumbs up, have they ever experienced any of this we're talking about? And do they agree that trying to better yourself in an environment that's not conducive to that betterment, for lack of better terms, it is hard.
Right.
And usually when things get hard, Tony, what do? We don't want that. We want that thing to be easy.
Right.
But really, for real, those of us that live, if you've lived 25 years or more, what have you experienced that was that easy, that was anything that's worth having?
It's not easy.
It's a little fight got to go in that joint, man. Yeah.
I agree. So we have Tear It Up said, all right then Precious, she's hollering, that means she's repeating right after you. Okay. And Miss Mika 404 says, hard. And so
hard. And then you also got to understand, we talked about different sectors of relationship. Right. Not just that man, woman, romantic thing, you my boo, you my thing, you my husband, you're my wife, but you're my girl. See, one thing people fail to realize too sometimes, platonic relationships, man, they can hurt like a husband-wife. Yeah. Somebody's supposed to be your boy, supposed to be your girl, and they walk out on you when you need them the most. That thing will hurt you like your dude, like your woman. And so it's different sectors. You got your romantic relationship, you have your platonic relationship, you have your children and your parents. You have these people that you gave birth to that you thought were going to, you plant flowers, child, they can come a week sometimes. And so you got that hurt, right? You got that church hurt that we mentioned earlier. Now, I've been on 5 auxiliaries in this church. Pastor JoJo. And I've worked on ush board, I sing in the choir, I clean the pews. And how dare y'all hurt me this way? So, all sectors, no matter which one it is, when you start to change up, it is hard because you get used to that. It is a codependency. I was sick. I was codependent on people being codependent on me. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
So we're going to transition because actually I'm going to use what you just said as far as the healing factor goes, right? So, as you said earlier in the show, once again, we appreciate everyone for stepping in. Cassandra Smith says, real talk. So, you said you are newly single.
I am a newly single woman.
And that is after 36 years.
36 years
of marriage.
Even when I say single, like my tone don't go over there and it kind of twists up. Right. I pride myself on being pretty articulate, but that word single, it still comes out as single. Yeah, but I am.
Okay. And let me say this. I absolutely knew nothing. I seen your Facebook, so I don't even know how long you've been single.
Because I didn't come out saying, hey, I'm single.
Right.
And I didn't come out dogging my ex.
So how long have you been single?
I have been officially divorced, legally with the paper in the courts. It'll be, what's today's date? Yesterday it was 2 months.
January 15th.
Yesterday it was 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Separated 6 months.
Wow. So this is all fairly new.
Oh, yes, sir.
This is okay.
Oh, yeah. I don't play the yo-yo.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I don't do any repeat stuff. For those of you that don't know, my husband and I, we were married coaches.
Marriage coaches. So they've been. So this. Let me bring context from my end. Okay, and then you can help me from there.
Go ahead, Tom.
So I actually brought you guys on a show called Black Love.
Yes, sir.
And this was actually a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I brought y'all on, and you know, you guys are marriage coaches, and you books, speaking engagements, just dropping gems, you know. And here's the thing: you really never know what goes on behind closed doors. But I do vividly remember you guys saying that you have dealt with every single situation
except
that you
drugs
could
and alcohol.
that you could possibly deal with,
yes.
except for drugs and alcohol.
Everything.
I remember that vividly.
Yes.
So in my head, I'm like, okay, so y'all done dealt with cheating. Well, you actually said it.
I did.
You said, oh, and the cheating wasn't on one end. Mm-hmm. You said, we've experienced it on both ends. Mm-hmm. And I was like, tell me
because
more.
you told me I could come on and hot.
Right.
And my HOT acronym is honest, open, and transparent. Mm-hmm. Not to just tell my business, but to help somebody else.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I was like, okay, well, tell me more. Because normally now, we hear, even if it is not their full truth, okay?
Yeah.
But we tend to hear people say, oh, if you cheat on me, I'm leaving. I'm out the door. Uh-huh. And I literally just had said this to, I don't even know who it was. Just last week, I said it. I said, I can't think, just in my mind, I cannot picture a relationship being together for 30 plus years and there's no level of infidelity that occurred. I personally could not fathom that. I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm saying, in my mind, I couldn't fathom that. But a lot of people aren't willing to do the work to move past that if that's something you can move past. Because maybe there's extra stuff that was in there that caused, that to happen. But neither here nor there. After 36 years, I don't know who decided to walk away, but now you are in a space where you are single. And we talked about healing earlier. How does one heal from 36 years? Because for some people, that's a lifetime.
It was.
That's a lifetime.
It was.
So how does a person heal from 36 years of marriage that has now ended?
Right. Let me say this. I thought I knew God. Okay, so I knew when we got saved together. We did everything together. We walked down the aisle and gave our life to Christ, and I found out. So we got saved in '91. I realized I didn't know God until 2006 because I saw things that I would have normally did and would have been okay with. I wasn't no more. The deliverance that happened in 2006. In 2013, I found out I fell in love with Jesus. It's like, whoa, I thought I knew you. But I thought I knew him until this happened. And when I read the scriptures, I see the word. I teach the word. I'm a Bible teacher. Right? And I thought I knew him until I saw the manifestation of his power during this thing that happened. When I say you can literally ask him, my friend always says to me, he says, closed mouths get fed. He'll ask me, you hungry? And I said, he said, closed mouths get fed. That is so true.
Closed mouths don't get fed.
Closed mouths don't get fed. I opened my mouth during this time and I just asked God, I said, heal my heart and heal my soul. Because for the first time I realized, okay, I felt my heart getting okay, but then it was still another hollow place. I said, that's my soul. Because that was my life. I remember being in the fetal position for months. I couldn't straighten my body out in the bed. That's how much pain it was. I remember the morning I woke up and my body was straight. I was like, Lord, what? He's a healer. I remember being at work when all this was going on. And I hope Bishop McGee is watching. But Zach McGee, we went to high school together. And he sent me a song out of the blue. I don't hear from Zach. We don't talk. he sent me the song by Elantra. What's her name? Better Days Are Coming.
Oh, Leandria.
I didn't know of her and didn't know that song. And I played the song. See, this is what happened when you hurt. The woman of God was talking about this today in church. When you hurt, you get offended by anything. I was offended. Who he think? Why he sending this to me? You're offended by truth. You're offended by any kind of anything. And then I listened to the song and I wanted to be more offended, but I couldn't.
Because hurt brings a whole nother level of vulnerability.
A whole nother level of vulnerability that you want to hide too. Yeah. And the first thing in my mind was when he sent me the song was, what has he seen? Because by this time I knew that the cheating was happening. And I was like, did he see it? I'm more worried about what he saw. Pride now. Okay. Pride now. I'm more worried about, well, did he see it? Did he see him? Because why would he send me this? To this day, I do not know why he sent me that song. And I just sent it out to him. I just sent him, Zach, thank you. Amen. That thing got me through. But you mentioned when we came on your show, I'm going back, that we talked about our longevity, our tenure, for lack of better terms, of marriage. Right. You call it tenure when you made some decades.
Yeah, decades is
3 decades and 6.
Yeah.
You got to put the 6
because some people don't make it to the 6.
Come on now.
So much less the 3 decades.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
You talking about people who met, fell in love, fell out of love, fell in love with other folk, fell back in love with each other.
Come on now.
Okay.
Come on now.
Okay.
We keeping it hot.
Honest, open, and transparent.
Come on now.
And not to tell our business, but for somebody to be helped.
But somebody is going to be helped.
Somebody's going to be helped. So when I tell you that you can overcome infidelity, that you can come back and prayer and God and scripture and accountability and therapy.
Say that word again.
Advocate.
That word again.
Prayer and therapy.
Come on now.
Not know, all we need is Jesus, and if you really got Jesus, he gonna tell you, go to therapy. You better go to coaching. Yeah. You better have a third, fourth party out there keeping you. Yeah. You better have the right community around you. Yeah. You can overcome that. You can overcome the cheating. You can overcome that. But we also made a vow to each other. We would renew our vows, I know, like every other year, to keep that thing on point in front of our face that we're really doing this. And one of the things that we will always vow to each other, I will never love you more than I love God. Because we had done that before. Right. I know I did. Right. I know I made him my little God. Right. He was a golden image, child. He was more golden image than the children had made over there when Moses went up there to see God. And they were like, hey, Aaron. Hey, what up with shouting Moses? Why he ain't came back yet, man? What's up? And they started melting down watches and all of that stuff, coach bags, Hey. But I had made him a golden image. And God had to straighten me out. Right. Got that straightened out. Got back together. Did that part. And we also vowed that if infidelity ever came back now, that wasn't going to be no 5-time testimony. It wasn't going to be, I got a testimony. We cheated again. I got a testimony. We cheated again. I got a testimony. I hit them skins with somebody else again. Oh, hell no. That ain't going to happen. You hit the skins, you going to hit the dough. And that's what happened. That's what happened.
So, okay. So without if we weren't clear before, we clear now.
Yes.
So it was a repeat.
Yes.
Of something you had already dealt with.
Yes. And get this though. Then, loved ones, try it again. I think God can use y'all. But in my inner soul, I was like, no. And he kept saying back, God is telling me it's another chance. And I'm sitting up thinking like, now God talking to you about me? And he ain't told me that.
The same God.
The same one. You know the one that sent his son, for reconciliation.
he can talk to you just like he can talk to me.
The whole died on the cross, tomb moved out the way 3 days.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
So, how about, I'm like, okay, let him back. And let me know without us. Hey, I got to go back. But we can stay and we can go to coaching through me doing. No, okay. But God was like, but that's not good enough that you just leave. God was like, you're going to have to leave, walk away, get yourself together, learn who you are, and then in the midst of that, true forgiveness going to happen. Oh, that wasn't easy.
So how does a person get to a place of true forgiveness?
When they truly get in God. When I say get in God, you read those scriptures, they're going to start sounding different. Everything, it could be the same scripture, and for me it was. The same one, that same Proverbs 3, verse 5 through 6, every day had a different meaning, a different melody, a different tone in my ear, a different don't lean to your understanding. Unforgiveness was like, but I got every right to not forgive.
Right.
I said, don't lean to your understanding.
Right.
Every day, until it finally got in. It finally got in. And it finally got in. And so then I started to say, okay, with everything that was done to me, and honey, it was some stuff done to me, up under all of that mess was a good man. Up under all of that, and I tell you, I got dragged through the mud. Financially, emotionally, all of that. I was broken. Emotionally and financially and everything else. Everything. Barely had a morsel of food. For real, for real. In the midst of all of that, I said, with everything, and I do it like this because it was layers of mess. With all of that was done to me, under that lies a good man. Because in 36 years, there's no way we stayed and it was all bad.
Right.
No way.
So I want to go back to the book briefly, because
there's a chapter in the book.
You said that you went through the emotional hurt, where you dealt with the financial aspect of it, things like that. So how did he react when you wrote a book that really details? Damn. I forgot to love her.
He was one of my biggest cheerleaders.
Okay.
He was one of my biggest cheerleaders. Everybody, this is the funny thing about that book. Quite a few people were like waiting for it to come out, like, oh my God, she getting ready to let us have it, because I started to change. So everybody thought it was about them. And he already knew it was a chapter in the book called I'm Married to Him, He's Married to Him. So my marketing person saw the response from people. They bought the book when they saw that part. They thought he was gay. I'm married to him, he married to him. We went on with it, with the whole marketing piece. Whatever take y'all to buy that book, amen. It wasn't that, it was he's married to himself, selfishly. And so I'm talking to men or women out there. If you're so self-absorbed, because loving you is not, I remember when the book came out and women would hit me up and say, that's right, girl, because I'm doing me. No, boo, my book ain't not about doing you. My book is about loving you, right? And so when you're so self-absorbed that your partner cannot get the best part of you that they used to get, not the best part belongs to you, but when you're so self-absorbed that they feel like they're single, then you're married to you. They're married to you, and you're married to you. You're dating you, but they're dating you. And so he knew this already. He knew all of that. And so whenever our books come out, what we would do, because they're pretty much one sit reads, they're full of gems. We would get the book when the boxes come in. He would sit and I would sit, and we both would read. And when we finished, he looked at me and he said, "You were really nice to me." He said, "You were really." I said, "But I didn't lie." He said, "No, you didn't lie, but you didn't."
It could have been worse.
You could have really told it. I was like, it just wasn't necessary right now because we worked through that. So I didn't lie. He said, "You were really nice to me." So he was one of my biggest cheerleaders with that book.
That's great. That's great.
He really was.
So as a person that now has found healing. Or are you still finding healing?
Yeah.
Is that
ING is big.
That is an ongoing process. That's a journey, not a destination.
That's a journey, not a destination. I am healed in regards to him.
Okay.
I am healed in regards to that marriage. Who was I talking to the other day that told me the grieving process now is not about that. The grieving process is about what should have happened. Once I had to go through this thing of accepting what is.
Getting out of that denial.
Accepting what is. Right? Stop wanting for what was or what could have been. Because you can mess your life up saying, but I should have graduated and I did. What is the truth? You didn't. What are you going to do about it? Yeah. And so I had to get through that part. So it is a continuous healing of me. That's a lot of years of my life. Right. You know, someone asked me the other day, because he's getting married, and someone asked me the other day how I felt, and did I need to say anything to his bride-to-be about certain things. No, that's not my responsibility. That's not my responsibility. I wish them well. And that's it. That's a period right there. Just like no, it's a whole sentence. Sometimes it's, no, I wish them well. And to be able to say it and mean it. And to be able to say it and mean it.
That's very mature. I don't know if I'm there yet.
Well, I never thought I could be there. Remember when we first started talking, I said I never thought I could know God. I never thought, even now sometimes I'm in awe. I'm like, I remember the time I would have acted this way, that way. My tears, I would honestly say, the most recent tears was because of outside people, or when I say outside of the marriage per se, that I thought would have been there for me. And God had to remind me, because he still has to spank my little girl. But look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people that are. See, again, you so worried about who wasn't. And then you took your eyes off the ones who are. Yeah. But it's only God. It's only God. I'm telling you.
I got you.
I didn't even realize that my healing was already starting. My therapist had to tell me. I told my therapist, I said, oh yeah, a year after I'm divorced, I'm going to start dating. I'm going to get me a boo, you know. And he was like, Linda, how long have I been your therapist? And I told him how many years he's been our therapist and my therapist. Okay. And then he said, Linda, you've been working through this thing for 4 years. You've done the work. Your healing, this was just God putting it was just the what do you call it, on the donkey back, what do they call it? That was the thing that the nail in the coffin.
The straw that broke the donkey's back.
That. My therapist said that's all that was. God had to shake it. He said God had to make it that bad. Because you would have put another scripture on it and stayed. One more prayer and stayed. 5 more coaching sessions and stayed. You would have made up 5 excuses why you can stay. And he had to make it so bad
that you had no choice within your spirit other than to release. And I've been there before.
There you go.
I've been there before, because God knows that there are certain things where you're going to be like making excuses.
Come on now.
In order to approve it.
And I was the approval queen.
Yeah, the excuses to justify it.
We've been here so long.
Yeah.
What are people gonna think?
Yeah.
Oh, whoa. And God shook that thing so bad. It's like I've been on jobs before where I wanted to quit. And God was like, it's not time. And if you can relate out there, thumbs up or something. Yeah. Then God, when he says it's time to go, you be like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go now. I feel like looking for no work. I'm just good where I am. He'll shake that thing. He'll shake that tree to all them leaves fall off where you have to go.
Right.
And that's what happened.
Let me read these comments. So y'all going in over here. Okay. It's the straw that broke the camel's back.
The straw
Leon went through the donkey, the horse, the goat, the elephant. It's the camel. Okay, let me go back up to the other comments. All right. Y'all been going. All right, shout out to Morphil that stepped in the building. NG1194, great conversation. Pastor Timothy Frazier, we appreciate you for joining us, sir. J. Curry Jim Doll says, I'm married to him. He's married to him. That's heavy. Robbie Doc Griffith says, so. And going down. There's so many comments. Okay, Robbie Dot Griffith said exactly, eliminating the should of. And then Rise Above, shout out to my sister in the building. She said, woo child. And Precious says, that was deep. I can definitely relate. J. Curry Jim Doll says, this is helping me. Rise Above says, I love the transparency. Precious says, the straw that broke the camel's back. Thank you. Robbie Griffith giving a thumbs up. Precious giving a thumbs up. Shout out to Power _ joined. And J. Curry Jim Doll says, yes, he will.
Yes, he will.
Okay, so.
Ooh, he will.
Now that you are in the process of healing your inner workings, but healed from the relationship, are you dating now?
I am.
All right. What does that look like?
Okay, so let me
for someone after 36 years. What does that look like?
So I remember the Friday night, I was talking to my brother. So I have a brother, and we've been brother and sister since 6th grade. We've been just that tight. Andre Beavers, honey, out there in California. I got somebody from 9th grade. Shout out to Rise Above. Yeah, 6th grade, me, Andre out the grade. That is my boo. That's my brother. And I remember we were talking, and I was saying the same thing that I said to my therapist the next day. I said, yeah, but about 6 months after the divorce, a year, I think I'm gonna start dating. I don't know what to do. And he was like, sis, man, you don't did all that healing, because he was in the thick of it with me, right? I mean, the thick of it with me. And he was like, you done went through, you did this, you did, sis, you doing it, you better, girl, please, I'm gonna set you up, you better go out on this day and say, he was trying to help me. I was like, I don't even know how to do that, when I put a picture, what I do. And so the next day, I'm on my therapy session, and that's when he said, 4 years you've been doing this work. 4 years I've been counseling you, him, and y'all. And when girl, you better go get your book. I was like, Doctor, I felt like I felt like that. I don't even know how to do it. He said, just do it. You just go have some fun. Just go laugh. So, my brother helped me out with the sight thing. And then a beautiful person in my life. I'm just going to say
so you did online dating?
Well, I tried.
Okay.
I didn't know what the heck I was doing.
Okay.
Yeah, like I might say, I like.
Well, I'm pointing this out because there's some that shall remain nameless that are in the building on today in the kingdom, and they refuse to do online dating. Though we have some success stories within the kingdom, because we have some married folk that found their love online.
I know some people that.
So I'm just saying,
and I probably would have. However. A very sweet person was sitting by me one night. Okay. At a family function, they whispered to me, "I'm gonna give you, I'm blah 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 blah." Okay, I'm just gonna put, and I was like, Anyway, blah blah blah, like you. Next thing I know, me and blah 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 got a conversation, and I had a couple of conversations with some people from online, and then next thing I know, they done moved the online people on out the way. I didn't even know it. I didn't even know how empty I was. But when they kept making me laugh, I kept laughing and laughing, and I didn't realize, and I'm going to talk about this in a place, so I don't want to give it away, I didn't realize how much I wasn't liking me. And this person made me laugh and like me. And I started to walk like this. And all of a sudden, the more I talked to him, I started walking like this.
You started embracing that femininity.
Yeah, oh my goodness, I did. And I'm just being real, and I'm still saved and filled with the mighty Holy Ghost and all of that good stuff. Because God made this thing, right?
Listen, a woman is a beautiful thing.
A woman is a beautiful thing. And
I'm just saying.
And so I was like, wow. And so, yeah, I am dating. Very special man.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So, before we leave, there are two things that I want to touch on, right? Because we're close to our hour.
Okay.
We didn't know it was going to go this far.
Have y'all been enjoying this?
Have y'all been enjoying?
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Let us know.
Come on. Thumbs up.
I see Tanya has entered the building. Shout out to my queen.
Okay, now.
Let me throw that up.
Okay, you got to throw it one more time.
Shout out to my queen. J. Curry Jim Doll is laughing. Shout out to C2XZ for joining us. Giving thumbs up. We see Robbie.Griffith3. We see Rise Above _8. We see Miss Mika 404, all of them are giving the thumbs up, and Tanya says, hello, King. Shout out to her. So, for the person that is in a relationship right now, and they're in a space where they are unsure, as they are embracing themselves, they're unsure if they should stay or if they should leave. Talk to that individual.
Okay. If you're in a space where you don't know if you should leave or stay, you have to search yourself. If this thing is heavy on you, depending on what it is, it's heavy on you, and you've already exhausted all your resources. You've been to counseling, and both parties are willing participants in counseling.
Let's say that. Willing
Participants. That means that when it's okay if you initiate the idea of going,
right?
But they are willing to go. And then when you go, they are willing to sit, and they are willing to hear the wisdom from the person that knows what they're talking
Even
about.
when it hurts.
Even when it
Because that's the key. Because people will show up, but the moment it start hurting,
they will walk out.
Yes,
they will. And so, so if the two of you are willing to go and get the help, and if you know that whatever it is, it could be communication, it could be sex is offers, what have you, and you're willing to work in that thing, and both parties are willing to work, and you can, let me tell you something, when both parties are willing to work, I've been here, you start, there was a song called, We've Lost That Loving Feeling. You start feeling that loving feeling again. I don't care if you've been married 500 years, they start looking so fine, you be like, hey, man, wait, man, now, come on, yo, boo. But if you don't, you know, and it can take some time depending on what it is. But if you have exhausted all resources and you have really put the time and the work in, like my therapist said, girl, you've been putting the work in, and you still, something in you just keeps saying, it's almost like you're sick by staying. Then you want to make sure, if you have a pastor, and I pray, and shout out to my pastor, Pastor Frazier, because baby, when I tell you, listen, I could go to him, and I didn't have to go to him with 5 Hail Marys, honey, and 3 scriptures. I went to him like, you know, I went in, and he was just, took it in. You got to be able to have spiritual accountability, mental accountability, people around you, and you've done all that, and you still feel like you can't breathe. You need to really go in and contemplate, but definitely exhaust all your resources.
Got you.
And be real with yourself. Stop playing the blame game.
So let me ask this question. Do you consider 36 years of marriage to be a successful marriage, or do you consider that to be a level of failure? No, that's not failure. Not with the lessons learned out of it. It wasn't failure. I came up out of my 36-year marriage so much of a better woman and person. There's no failure. My pastor taught a couple of weeks ago, he said we tend to think because something ends that it's a failure. It could have had an expiration date. And it has an expiration date. It will go sour if you're not doing the work. And if you stay in it, something that's soured and expired, come on now. And you got to do the work so it won't sour when it comes to a relationship. Yeah. I remember I used to say this. I used to tell my husband, my ex-husband, I used to tell him, I think we should be able, the same way you do driver's license, you have to go back and renew. I think you should be able to take some kind of test. You should be able to go before some type of your spiritual counsel or somebody and show how you are really loving each other with your love languages. You're going out of your way. When you see it getting stale, finding things to liven it back up. Right. Stop talking about I fell out of love or they don't do it like I wanted them to do it no more. Well, you find some other ways. Flip them this way when you flip them that way. Come on now with the flip. Come on with the flip. If you flip them this way and then it ain't doing it, you flip them that way. Very true. So let me see about this as it relates to the people that are in relationship now, whether married, whether dating, whether just committed seriously. What words of wisdom would you give those that are willing to fight for their marriage, that are willing to fight for their relationship, but maybe things are just rocky at the moment. What words of wisdom would you give those people?
If it's rocky, it's okay. You don't have to be the one to tilt the boat over. If it's rocky, you hold on one side of the boat, and we're talking metaphorically. Let him or her hold on the other side of the boat, and you both can calm that boat. What does calming the boat look like, Linda? Calming the boat might look like therapy and coaching and praying and the scriptures. Calming the boat might be able to tell the truth. I'm not feeling you right now. I need you to hold me more than just touching the places that's going to get you orgasm. Or calming the boat might mean, I've been working paying all the bills and I need a little help from you. Calming the boat might mean, I don't dig the way you raising the babies. Let's come together. Calming the boat might mean, talk to me. Calming the boat might mean, okay, it's football season, but can I get some love or a kiss at halftime? Calming the boat. Find out what that thing is that's making it rock first. Okay? And making a commitment. I put a post on Facebook the other day. I said, a man don't have to be perfect to make a woman happy. Just be the man you said you were going to be at the beginning. We all change. Physically, mentally, all of that. But innately, we can still be that person. Music Soul Child said it best. You could gain a little weight, boo, your hair can get a little gray, but for real,
as long as your love don't change.
Come on now, that part. And just be there for each other. And become friends. I think the part that hurt me the most in my relationship, because Antonio and I, we were dogs. Like that was my shawty, and we used to always say we were dogs, but the friendship died. Because when you're friends, there's certain things you just won't do.
Yeah.
You know, and so that part, become friends. If you weren't friends when you met, and everybody weren't friends when they met. Right. Some people met, hey, you were fine, and you got together that way. Become friends. I tell my sweetheart now that I got, I said, oh yeah, you think you said that. He might say, you're so fine. I said, okay, that's my man. But then he might say something like, and I don't give about nobody else. I got your back. I said, that's my friend.
Right.
I said, you my friend when you said that.
Right.
You my friend.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so lastly, for the individual that has found themselves out of a relationship, but in search of a relationship, and they've done the work, they've healed, they've got the knowledge that is necessary for them to actually be in a relationship, what words of wisdom can you give those individuals who are ready to receive and be in a relationship?
One of the things I did when I started to heal, I was looking at a lot of Iyanla Vanzant videos, or a lot of everybody's videos. And I took out a piece of paper and a pen. I started to write my non-negotiables. Now they can change, because sometimes our standards be all up here and it'd be a good person and we're like, oh, they walk slew-footed. Man, but is he a good man? So his feet go like this. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I want a woman with this kind of shit. Well, look, a baby girl might not look like that, but it's your good woman. Start writing down, though, what you want. What you really want. Start looking at your own love language. And be particular. Let that person know, look, my love language, like for me, my love language is quality time and physical touch. Give it to yourself first. Give it to yourself first. Spend time, quality. What is that going to look like? Because if you don't know what it look like to you, you can't articulate that to someone else.
Right.
And I'm not going to give you just pray and hold on and, yeah, you can pray because God is there. You should have that communication going on anyway.
Right.
But write down what you want. Make your own vision board. You know how we make vision boards? Make your own vision board and make that thing, it can come to actualization at that point in time. And get out of the daggone house. Get out somewhere. Go to a meetup.
Get out the house.
You know what? And let me tell you what I used to tell married people all the time when I was teaching. Stop walking around married folk. Stop walking around acting like you are part of some elite club. And you see these beautiful single people around here. And you know some other beautiful single people. Start having some stuff over your house. So they don't have to go out here looking in places that they shouldn't be in. Have a little, what they call it now, kickback. We used to call them sets back in the 70s and the 80s. Have a little kickback, a little something, and invite some single folk or whatever. Don't just walk around here like, cause I'm married and something. So, oh, shut up, cause you probably ain't doing it. Anyway, that's a whole nother show. I'm about to go in on that. But anyway, help the singles out. So if you're single and you've been waiting, you've been doing the work, you're getting a little frustrated, it's okay to be frustrated. But don't give up. Get out of the house, get to a meetup, find some things online with things you're interested in. You're interested in travel, join a travel club. Put yourself out there. That don't mean you got the hoe. That just means presenting yourself, be in position. Because if you're at home every night looking at Andy Griffith and don't nobody know you sitting there want nobody. And to my sisters, 50 plus.
Okay.
55 plus, 60 plus. Don't you believe that lie that you cannot be found because you reach a certain age.
Because I met her boo. Hello.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
If you guys have experienced some gems from this show, I want y'all to just go ahead and drop a gem in the comment section right now.
What's your takeaway?
I feel like she has dropped some gems on us, Miss Linda. Okay, so drop some gems if you believe you received some gems from this show.
Amen.
Listen, so as we said earlier, you have a show that is a stage play coming up on the 22nd of January at 5 p.m. Okay, tell the people what they can expect, what you're looking for them to receive from it, and let them know.
First of all, this is my first time back on the stage since the divorce.
Okay.
This is my first time back on the stage since the pandemic. Wow, I haven't done a play since 18.
Okay.
I'm telling my story.
Okay.
And I'm evolving. I'm actually doing something I've never done before.
Okay.
And Saudi is going to kill me when I tell it, because I wasn't going to tell it until the night the backdrop, the step and repeat banner was going to tell it.
Okay.
But it's my very first one-woman show.
Okay.
I've never done one.
Okay.
I've always wanted to. And I knew God spoke to me when I wrote that book that I was supposed to do one. And so when I got ready to do a play again, I was going to do one of my plays I wrote called It's Mine to Keep. And I was like, I'm not ready to get out there and be a focal part of the production because God is hiding me. And God told me about 3 weeks ago, he said, I'm not hiding you anymore. You're hiding you. Because you're scared to get up there and do it. So it's Linda's one-woman show with friends.
Okay.
So I have a couple of people on the stage doing some stuff with me. But I was talking to a guy that's going to be playing a part with me last night. And when he started telling me how we're going to evolve in this particular scene, and he said, we're not choreographing. He was telling me. He said, when I do this, you do that. When I say this, all I want you to do is just do you. Dr. Aria told me, she said, for so long, you have been gracing the stage, dummying down. You have been gracing the stage, being very tiptoeish because you wanted to make sure that you didn't override the person I was on stage with. Dr. Aria said, you better get up there and you better be Linda. So you will expect me to be hot, honest, open, and transparent. I will be raw, relational, uplifting, and motivational. And I am coming out of the box.
All right.
I feel like I want to stand up there and just spin around. Yeah.
So, for those that want to see the stage play, where can they get those tickets?
Yes, you can get the tickets by going to Lee Legacy, LeeLeeLegacy, LeeLegacyLLC.com. LeeLegacyLLC.com.
LeeLegacyLLC.com.
You can go there, and when you go there, you'll see play tickets. And you click that, and you go there. I have the regular tickets are only $30.
Okay.
The VIP tickets are only $40. And if you are a business owner here in the Atlanta area, metro, or surrounding areas, because I have people coming from Macon, Augusta, and you have a product or a service, and you want to showcase what you got, come on out and be a vendor as well, because your vendor ticket gets you in the show.
And I know personally quite a few people on here that are actually business owners that do that really could benefit from participating. So
Yes.
once again, Lee Legacy LLC.com is where you can get your tickets. And if you're interested in being a vendor, that is also where you can get that information as well.
Yes, and if I even motivated you any tonight, if you had a good time tonight,
come on now.
If you had a good time, you're gonna have a good time next Sunday.
So make sure you check out Miss Linda K as she brings her one-woman show to the main stage. Yes. And where is the
It's going to be at the College Park Auditorium in College Park, Georgia, on Main Street. And if you're from Atlanta or if you're from that side of town, you say College Park.
Near the train station, I believe.
Right over, right at the train station.
Right at the College Park train station. So listen, we appreciate y'all for joining us. We are over our hour, but this was some good conversation.
Yes.
Listen, if you have not already followed King to Queen Talk, this is a perfect opportunity in order to do it. As you can see, we have real transparent conversation. We provide the black, grown, and unfiltered perspective on life, love, and everything in between, and that is what we did on today, right? And so please make sure you go ahead and follow us. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube, I suggest that you go and do it, because if you want to catch the playback, because there were so many gems that were dropped, I feel like you're going to have to watch this again, right? And so YouTube is going to be where you're going to be able to do that at. We will have this posted on IG up until Tuesday. Once Tuesday comes, we will then transition everything over to YouTube, and that's where you will catch the playback. So go ahead and subscribe so you know when that video is officially dropped on the YouTube channel.
And Tony, what they supposed to do with that like button? Smash
the like button. We want to hear your comments. You might pick up a gem after you watch it back, right? It may be something completely different that you missed on here. And so we want to see you in the comments as well. And so once again, let them know where they can find you.
Yes, you can find me on Facebook at Linda K. Lee. You can find me on Instagram at Linda K. Lee. You can find me on Clubhouse, which I haven't been on in a minute, but I'm coming back as Linda K. Lee. And did I say Instagram? Linda K. Lee. And I also have a YouTube show, Linda K. Lee, coming straight from my heart with Linda K. Lee. And I want to see you at the show next week. Let me hug your neck and then let's peace out like that. Tony, you told them you are doing the after party.
Yes, your favorite bearded king is going to the after party, hosting the after party. Make sure you meet me there. How about that? Because I will be there in the place, you know, with all the style and grace. And so listen, we appreciate y'all for joining us. This has been King to Queen Talk. I am Tony G, and I appreciate y'all for joining us on tonight. This is Miss Linda K, and we are out. Peace.
Tony G.